In 1957, Cadillac released a car that cost $13,000, nearly twice the price of the average American home and more than a Rolls-Royce. Only 704 were ever built. GM lost over $11,000 on every single one, and they knew they would before the first unit left the factory. The Eldorado Brougham was never designed to make money. It was designed to prove something far more dangerous. $13,074. That was the number printed on the Eldorado Brougham's window sticker in 1957, an amount that towered over every other American car and even eclipsed the most exclusive European imports. For context, a new Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud, the gold standard of British luxury, listed for less than $9,000 in the United States. The average American family could buy a brand new home for about $7,400. The Brougham was not just more expensive than a house, it was nearly double. Cadillac's own DeVille, already a symbol of success, cost less than $5,000. The Brougham's price wasn't just high, it was a statement, a challenge, and a warning shot aimed at every rival. This wasn't a car for the well-off, it was a car for the untouchable. Cadillac's advertising called it the ultimate Cadillac, a phrase that appeared in Motorama displays and magazine spreads, always paired with language about prestige, exclusivity, and the limits of technology. Only 400 were built in the first year and just over 300 the next. Each one rolled off the line as a singular object, hand-finished, loaded with features no other sedan offered, and sold at a price that defied economic sense. The Brougham's sticker price was a gauntlet thrown at the feet of every luxury marquee. It didn't matter that the math didn't add up. The car was never meant to turn a profit. It was designed to make the world take notice and to remind everyone in chrome and steel that American ambition had no ceiling. Inside General Motors, the Brougham was never an exercise in profit. Harley Earl, Cadillac's legendary design chief, made that clear in a closed-door briefing before the first car even left the line. According to internal memos, Earl described the Brougham not as a product, but as a declaration, a statement on wheels. The car's staggering price tag, the hand-built craftsmanship, the parade of features no rival dared offer, none of it was intended to pay for itself. The Brougham was built to tower above every competitor, no matter the cost. Don Ahrens, Cadillac's general manager, put the strategy in writing. In January 1957 memo to the Finance Committee, Ahrens outlined the deliberate losses. The Brougham's unit cost will exceed revenue by over $9,000 per car. This is not a mistake. He named names: Lincoln Continental Mark II, Rolls-Royce, Mercedes-Benz, and laid out the goal: to build something so advanced, so unignorable, that every rival would look outdated by comparison. The Brougham was a corporate moonshot, a rolling dare to the world's luxury automakers. Internal bulletins circulated to dealers warned them not to expect commissions or sales bonuses. The Brougham was not a moneymaker, but a brand weapon. Every dollar lost was calculated, a strategic expense to cement Cadillac's place at the top. The board signed off on the losses as a marketing cost, not a business error. In the words of Earl, the Brougham was built to remind everyone what American luxury could be, even if it meant bleeding red ink with every car that left the factory. Air glided beneath the Eldorado Brougham in a way no American production car had managed before. At its core was the Hydro Air Ride suspension, a system designed by John Kelby and Charles Reapy that replaced steel coils with pressurized air bellows at each wheel. A compressor under the hood fed these bellows, while a central valve connected to a dash-mounted lever allowed the driver to set ride height with a level of precision unheard of at the time. During load tests at Milford Proving Grounds, the chassis maintained less than 0.2 of an inch of variance, even with a full cabin and trunk. The result was a car that hovered over broken pavement, unaffected by passengers or luggage. The ride was not just smooth, it was eerily level, as if the road itself had been tamed. That relentless pursuit of perfection didn't stop at the pavement. Above the window line, the Brougham's roof shimmered with a finish no paint could match. William McKenna, Cadillac's materials engineer, specified Type 304 austenitic stainless steel, an alloy more common in jet engines than in family sedans. Forming it required a 4-stage deep-draw press, lubricated to prevent cracking, followed by a passivation bath that left a permanent chromium oxide barrier. No paint, no primer, no rust. Decades later, field studies would confirm that not a single Brougham roof panel had succumbed to corrosion, even in the salt and slush of northern winters. The roof's cold, brushed surface became a tactile stainless signature, a reminder that this was not a car built for compromise. Each of these engineering feats came with a cost. The air suspension was expensive to build and even harder to maintain, and the stainless roof demanded labor hours that dwarfed those spent on any standard Cadillac. But for the men who designed it, compromise was never on the table. The Broughams' technical bravado was not an accident, it was the point. Luxury in the Eldorado Brougham was a matter of principle, not practicality. Every detail inside the cabin carried the weight of intention. The glove box held a vanity kit that read more like a socialite's travel case than automotive equipment. 2 magnetized champagne tumblers, a lipstick holder with a spring latch, a tissue dispenser, a cologne atomizer, a brass frame mirror, and a comb tucked into its own slot. Eleanor Snyder, Cadillac's lead interior designer, insisted that women should feel as pampered in a Brougham as they would in a Fifth Avenue salon. Market research showed that nearly 7 out of 10 prospective buyers expected amenities that no rival dared to offer. Cadillac delivered standard, not optional. Comfort was engineered with the same disregard for cost. The front seat moved at the touch of a button, driven by a 4-speed electric motor and a cam-guided memory mechanism. The system could store 2 preset positions, switching seamlessly between drivers. This alone added $250 to the build, about $2,500 in today's money, yet it was an afterthought in the Brougham's arsenal of luxuries. But the most extravagant decision lay across the Atlantic. For the 1959 and 1960 models, Cadillac contracted Pininfarina in Turin to hand-build the Brougham's bodies. Giovanni Michelotti, the Italian firm's chief stylist, oversaw the process. Each shell was shaped, finished, and crated by hand before crossing the ocean for final assembly in Detroit. The Italian work alone inflated the cost by over $3,500 per car. No other American automaker had attempted such a partnership, and none would repeat it. The Brougham's luxury was not just rare, it was unsustainable by design, a monument to excess that made each unit a financial warning as much as a technological marvel. Across 4 model years, Cadillac built just 704 Eldorado Broughams. Each one cost General Motors about $25,000 to produce, nearly twice the $13,074 sticker price. The math was brutal and deliberate. Every car that left the factory represented a loss of roughly $11,500. Multiply that by the entire run, and the Brougham program bled more than $8 million in red ink. These weren't rounding errors or accounting tricks. The losses came from hand-built bodies, stainless steel roofs, air suspension systems, and a level of craftsmanship that no rival dared attempt at scale. GM's board reviewed the numbers and signed off anyway. The Brougham was never meant to pay for itself. It was a calculated sacrifice, a financial dare meant to buy prestige, not profit. In the end, the price of proving a point was measured in millions. On March 17, 1961, the board of directors gathered in a quiet conference room, the numbers laid bare before them. John H. Burge, chairman, read the decision into the record. Terminate further production of the Eldorado Brougham, reallocate tooling to 1962 Series 70 platform. The vote was unanimous. The official reason, captured in the minutes, was simple: insufficient return on investment. There was no room for sentiment, no mention of the car's technical feats or its place atop the American automotive world. Within weeks, Cadillac issued a dealer credit memo, $1,200 for every unsold Brougham, a modest consolation for a dream that had cost millions to build and millions more to sustain. The Eldorado Brougham, engineered to be untouchable, was ended with a single line, quietly erased from Cadillac's future by the same hands that had once championed its ambition. Today, ultra-luxury cars chase profit margins, not moonshots. The Brougham lost Cadillac over $11,000 per car, yet delivered features still unmatched by rivals decades later. It proved American ambition could outpace common sense, and in boardrooms that kind of excess rarely survives. What would they dare build now?